Hello, this is Joe Gagliardi, President and CEO of the Greater Folsom Partnership, which includes the Folsom Chamber of Commerce. Through these organizations, we are pleased to present 2 weeks of targeted content to assist our business community. Since 1946, the Chamber has led the way for Folsom's prosperity and solid growth. In these challenging times, we are leading the way to collectively build the skills and competencies we all need to navigate the changes of 2020. This is a two-part effort including daily webinars and podcasts, which will capture the topics that are top of mind for our members and partners. The webinar will be available on scheduled days at 9 a.m. via the Zoom platform. The audio podcast, like this one, will be posted daily on our YouTube channel by 8 a.m. We are excited to blend the collective knowledge of the local business scene and the entrepreneurial skills of our partners at Tribe and Granite City Co-working. We are co-creating content to keep your business on the forefront of what you need to make critical pivots and lay the groundwork for successful following this tough stretch. Details about the schedule and content can be found on folsomchamber.com. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Sarah Aquino, a life and health insurance broker. In addition to her business, she has held many leadership positions in the city of Folsom. Sarah was the chair of the Folsom Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. She's a graduate of Leadership Folsom. She served on the Library Commission for the city and was elected to the Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board of Trustees. In 2018, Sarah was elected to the Folsom City Council, and in December of 2019, she was elected by her colleagues to serve as the mayor of Folsom. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Sarah Aquino.
So Sarah, we want to start today by asking you kind of a broad question. Tell us how your perception of how Folsom was prepared in the face of this type of a major crisis.
Well, first and foremost, I think a lot of credit goes not only to this council, but to past councils for being really prudent with our funds. The city council has a policy to maintain a reserve of at least 15% of our general fund. So we have a healthy reserve. We're going to have to dip into that reserve a little bit to get us through this, but that's exactly what it was designed for. So we are in good shape financially. A lot of credit goes to city staff. Elaine Anderson, our city manager, worked with her executive management team last year to do kind of a mock emergency operations drill, if you will, which prepared them to deal with things like this. How do you coordinate with other jurisdictions? How do you get the word out to the public? All that sort of thing. So I think we've done a really good job of being prepared for something like this.
So, Mayor, I've heard that both the police and fire and public safety have not seen a huge spike as a result of this crisis. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, I would say, in terms of calls to police and fire, those are holding steady. In the past week or so, we have seen an increase in calls to the police department. I've also received several calls and emails myself, as have my colleagues, where folks are calling to complain that their fellow residents are not doing the proper social distancing, especially when out exercising. So, just reminding people that, we're supposed to keep that 6-foot buffer even when we're out enjoying our parks and our trails. But in terms of just our general calls, those are pretty much holding steady.
So in general, Sarah, how do you think the city has been handling its critical infrastructure that certainly is top of mind for a lot of residents, including water, garbage, sewer, et cetera?
So essential city services are still continuing to operate, and they will continue. So police, fire, solid waste, water, all that sort of stuff, that's still happening. So put your garbage can and your recycling and your green waste out every day like you normally would, put it on your designated day. Folsom has a very secure water supply. The water that comes out of your tap is safe, it's clean. There's absolutely no reason to be, buying cases of bottled water. And then just a friendly reminder that really the only thing you should be putting down your toilet is toilet paper. And we know folks are sometimes having difficulty finding that, but when you put down things like wipes and napkins and toilet paper and stuff, that creates another problem for our sewer system. So please, only toilet paper down your toilet.
Timely reminder.
So can you share with us a little bit about what you and your colleagues have been doing for the senior community?
Yeah, so I'm really proud to say that my colleagues and I have been reaching out to seniors. We have contacted all the mobile home parks in Folsom, the senior apartment complexes. We have lists of people who have participated in programs such as Seniors Helping Seniors through our Community Development Department. So we have contacted those people and let them know that if they need assistance, getting groceries, or maybe they don't have the means to purchase groceries and they need to get connected with the Twin Lakes Food Bank. Any of that sort of thing we are assisting with. Also just really trying to be a reassuring voice and somebody they can talk to. I can tell you that amidst all this crisis, reaching out to these seniors is something that I personally am really enjoying. There's a lot of people who I think you kind of opened your eyes. Some of them, they're just lonely. They need people to talk to. They need reassurance. But I think they also, this generation has lived through a lot. And the ones that I've spoken with, they say, hey, we'll get through this. They're very, they're thankful. They praise God. They're not panicked, but some of them just, they need someone to just talk to because they're not getting out of their house and socializing like they were.
I think it's something that we should really emphasize. To me, it says everything about Folsom, this type of commitment to the seniors in the community who we know just on the face of it are the most at risk in this situation. While we were preparing for today's call, Sarah's phone rang, and it was a senior who she'd connected with, and they had a brief conversation, making sure she was getting her food deliveries, et cetera. And I think that level of caring says a lot about our community, and it certainly continues Folsom's reputation as a city that really cares about the people that live here. So great job on that, Sarah. I think it's a great example for all of us to follow as far as reaching out to our neighbors that may need that kind of support.
Yeah, and obviously, the city council, we cannot physically reach out to every senior or at-risk person in the community. So we're asking Folsom residents, please, pick up the phone, call your neighbors, call your friends, make sure they're doing okay, see if they need someone to talk to. If you're going out to the grocery store and you can pick up something for them and drop it off to them, that's great. If you can help them by picking up a prescription from the pharmacy, we need everybody to be reaching out to their neighbors and just, kind of doing that buddy system.
I also want to mention that on both the City of Folsom website and the Folsom Chamber website, we're sharing, and the social media pages, we're sharing a lot of content about stores that are offering dedicated early hours for seniors, as well as stores that have instituted supplemental delivery. So when you're in doubt, those are both great resources to get updates on what's currently available in Folsom.
I want to commend you on your leadership in pulling together several people on a weekly Friday call. Can you share a little bit about everybody that is included in that so people understand the breadth of how you're getting information?
Yeah, so we're doing a weekly call. We've had 3 calls now with other agencies and partners in the city. So, for example, the City of Folsom, the Greater Folsom Partnership, Folsom State Prison, California State Prison, Sacramento, Folsom Lake College, Folsom Cordova School District, Mercy Hospital of Folsom, Kaiser. Just an opportunity for each organization to report out an update on what's going on. It gives everyone an opportunity to share resources, if at all possible, and to ask for support. So, for example, in one of our calls, the president of Mercy Folsom Hospital said that they could use help in getting the word out that if somebody is not feeling well, or maybe they think they have some symptoms of COVID-19, your first stop should not be the emergency room. Pick up the phone and call your primary care doctor. So the City of Folsom and the school district were able to help get that message out.
I think the other person that you've included is our representatives too. Also, I think Congressman Barra was on one of the calls, kind of updating people. I think there's been some state representation also, correct?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely in regular contact with Congressman Barra, with Assemblyman McAlea and his staff, with Supervisor Sue Frost, sharing information, sharing resources, making Congressman Barra aware of how this pandemic is affecting, a city the size of Folsom.
Sarah, I know that the state of California announced the closure of state parks and parking lots. Do you anticipate any action being taken on the Folsom Park and Rec system?
So as of right now, our parks and our trails are open, but we are getting, phone calls from folks saying, hey, there's a group of, people playing volleyball or playing basketball and they're not doing the proper social distancing. So yesterday we started putting signs out at our parks and at our trailheads, reminding people of the need to stay at least 6 feet away even when you are exercising. Certainly we would hate to have to close, parks. We've already closed the aquatic center and the sports complex and that sort of thing. And I think if people just, use some good judgment and some common sense, 2 people should be able to play tennis or pickleball and easily maintain that 6-foot buffer. But is it a good idea to have groups of people playing, basketball or volleyball or, 50 kids on the playground? No, it really isn't. And so, we need, quite frankly, parents to parent. We need adults to act like adults. And we all, we have to do our part, and we have to understand we're all going to be inconvenienced in the short term, but hopefully in the long term, that means better health for our community.
I do have to say it is a nice experience to be able to wave at people from a distance and at least have some of that, contact with a familiar face. So I hope people heed your message and we're able to leave those parks open.
Well, I think, we can all be a little bit creative too. The other night we got takeout and our next door neighbors got takeout and we sat on our respective driveways. We were probably 15 feet apart, but you can still talk and catch up and socialize. You just have to be smart and creative about it.
Why don't you share a little bit more about how you actually are supporting the local businesses and economy? And for example, tonight your Zoom lesson.
Yeah, so tonight, my family of 4, my husband and our teenage daughter and son and I will be participating in virtual ballroom dance lessons with the Arthur Murray Studio here in Folsom. And we paid for 6 lessons. It was $100, and we are going to put on our fanciest dancing shoes, and we will going to temporarily fold up the ping pong table that is currently in our living room, and we're going to make room for a dance floor. So again, Folsom businesses, are being creative. They're doing things like that. My family, we eat a lot of takeout anyway, but we're really eating a lot of takeout right now during this, stay-at-home order. So we just call it in or go pick it up and just take curbside to go, and just trying to do our part to help some of these businesses stay in business, because this is not going to last forever. We will get through it.
Some of our Folsom restaurants have been commenting to our partners in the chamber about how fortunate they feel that their business is located in Folsom, because the behavior you're talking about is being replicated through a lot of families who are conscious of the fact that these are their neighbors, these small business owners, the restaurant owner. They live in Folsom as well, and they are people that are working really hard to get through this, and they need everyone's support. So it's great modeling, so we look forward to more social media posts. The Chamber currently has a pretty comprehensive list on our website of all the restaurants in Folsom that are currently open and serving to-go and curbside. So it's an easy reference. If it's a great time to try something new if you haven't experienced it. So I think it's really important for everyone to keep that top of mind. The longer this goes, the more duress it creates for that small business. So don't forget about them.
Can you comment about 2 things? One is about the supplies at the Twin Lakes Food Bank and what people can do in your experience at Bel Air with the prepaid bag of groceries.
Yeah, so the Twin Lakes Food Bank and other food banks in the area, have kind of been hit hard for 2 reasons. Number one, several of their volunteers, a large portion of their volunteers, are people who are 65 plus, and we know that's the high risk population, and those folks really should be staying home. So they've lost a lot of their volunteers. But in addition to that, they rely on donations from the grocery stores to get their supply, which they then distribute to people who need food. And because people are, have changed their shopping patterns, let's put it generously, and are buying more than they normally would, there isn't that food going to the food bank. So the Twin Lakes Food Bank in particular is asking for not only donations of food, but monetary donations if you can do it. You can go right on their website and do pay with a credit card, make a donation. As far as we do have grocery store partners who are doing a great job working with seniors and people who are at risk, whether it's letting them come in early or in the case of Raley's and Bel Air, putting together these kind of grab and go bags, if you will. Raley's and Bel Air has a $20 version and a $35 version. I have personally seen the $20 version. I picked it up from my local Bel Air, dropped it off to a senior who left me $20 on her doorstep. And I can tell you those bags are heavy. They are filled to the brim, not only with canned food and things like dried pasta, but they have a lot of fresh fruit and vegetables. And it really is, I think, a great bargain, and really appreciative of Raley's and Bel Air for being such a good partner, especially during times like this.
Do you have a recommendation on a place people can get regular communications from the city? A recommendation?
Yeah, so obviously the city of Folsom is sharing a lot of stuff on social media, so Facebook and Instagram. We also have a lot of information on our city website, folsom.ca.us. Yesterday we added a page for resources for business owners. Today we will be adding a page of resources for seniors, things like, what are the hours for those grocery stores who are offering, special hours for seniors. We have a weekly email that goes out to residents if they are subscribed to that. And yesterday's email that went out was all about COVID-19. I do think it's also important to note that our city hall is open. And I think we are probably one of very few, if not the only city hall that's still open in the region. But we know that in times like this, people have questions, and sometimes they don't know where to go, and city hall is the first place they think to turn. So we have a skeleton crew there. We do have signs up reminding people to maintain that social distancing, but city hall is open.
That's great. So, Sarah, we've covered quite a bit. Are there any topics that we didn't touch on that you think are important to comment on?
I think it's just important to remember that, we're going to get through this. And again, a little bit of inconvenience for all of us in the short term will mean better health for all of us in the long term. So if you can do your part by staying home as much as you can, making donations to places like the Twin Lakes Food Bank, supporting small business by getting food to go, or doing like my family is, and things like that virtual ballroom dance lesson. Also, if you are healthy and you're safely able to do so, if you could call up our local blood bank, which is Vitalent on Atoma Station Drive, formerly Blood Source. They are in desperate need for blood donation at this time. And then finally, again, call on your neighbor, pick up the phone, check on people who maybe can't get out as easy as we can, and get groceries and supplies and all the things we need.
Thank you, Mayor Sarah Aquino, for your leadership and service during this critical time. We all appreciate the hours you're spending to shepherd us through this period, and look forward to celebrating better news in the near future.
I want to give a special thanks to the Greater Folsom Partnership for all that you are doing to drive business to business during these uncertain times. Thank you for your efforts.
Well, thank you for joining us today for this podcast, Daily Drop, Local Knowledge to Start Your Day. You can check out the full schedule of upcoming speakers on folsomchamber.com. Follow us on our Facebook and Instagram platforms for more resources and links to support your business decisions in the upcoming weeks. Email us at teamrecovery@folsompartners.com with your individual questions. We are proud to be part of the great community of Folsom. Stay safe and well. In Folsom, stronger together.